Story time for your little one. Is it good, bad, or evil? You are thinking of your child's development, but have you ever considered what it does to you and your child's relationship? Guaranteed that you as a parent have contemplated if story time like Cocomelon or Teletubbies or any other trending children's shows are good or bad for your child's development. Parents need a break. Everyone knows that a parent's work is the hardest and most demanding job in the world. So, if you have ever wondered if story time is the solution to a break for you, without damaging your child's development and mommy and me relationship, this video is for you, where I share 5 factors to consider what story time can mean for you and your precious little one's relationship. Stay to the end for the conclusion. You won't believe the outcome and will make you feel better. Watching Cocomelon or similar shows excessively can impact the mother-child relationship in a variety of ways. Here are 5 interesting facts based on psychological and developmental insights. 1. Decreased interaction and bonding time. Excessive screen time, especially passive consumption of shows like Cocomelon, can reduce meaningful interaction between the mother and child. Activities like reading together, playing, or talking foster stronger emotional bonds. When screen time replaces these, it might lead to weakened communication skills in children and missed opportunities for bonding. Not to mention that excessive exposure basically will teach your child a different language that you will not understand. Random fact: an interesting study that was done on moms and their bonding with toddlers is the still face experiment, conducted by developmental psychologist Dr. Edward Tronick in the 1970s. This study is a foundational piece of research in understanding mother-child bonding and emotional connection. What makes this interesting is the still face experiment dramatically illustrates the importance of emotional responsiveness in the bond between mothers and their toddlers. It highlights how toddlers are highly sensitive to their caregivers' emotional availability and how this interaction directly impacts their emotional development and sense of security. 2. Dopamine overload for the child. Have you ever clapped your hands, danced around in a funny way, or pulled a face to entertain your kid, thinking it will amuse the little one? But to your surprise, you just get that boring, "What are you doing?" stare. Well, your child's dopamine might be sustained at a higher level. Shows like Cocomelon are fast-paced and visually stimulating, which can trigger a dopamine rush in the brain. This can make real-world interactions seem less exciting in comparison. Over time, the child may become more reliant on screen time for stimulation, making it harder for the parent to engage them in more traditional, quieter activities that promote deeper connection and focus. Random fact: a notable study in this area comes from researchers at the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center in 2019, who used MRI scans to examine the brains of young children, ages 3 to 5, in relation to their screen time. They found significant correlations between higher screen time and structural changes in the brain's white matter, which is critical for language, literacy, and cognitive skills. While precise percentages on dopamine overload are harder to pinpoint, studies indicate that higher screen time, over 1 to 2 hours daily, particularly from fast-paced media, is correlated with brain changes, attention deficits, and potentially harmful impacts on the brain's dopamine system. Parents are increasingly encouraged to manage screen time and opt for slower-paced, interactive activities to balance dopamine levels and foster healthy cognitive development. 3. Reduced emotional availability of the parent. Being a parent is really hard. No one can argue this, and if they do, they're lying. Everyone needs a break, and it does not mean you can't just take 20 minutes for yourself, just to gather your thoughts by giving your little one some screen time. It's like anything in life. Too much of something is always a bad thing, so just don't overuse it. If a mother relies too heavily on shows like Cocomelon or other to keep her child entertained, she might inadvertently reduce her emotional availability. While it's natural to need breaks, overuse can limit the time spent providing the child with emotional support, empathy, and attentiveness, potentially affecting the child's emotional development. Random fact: a significant study related to mothers' emotional availability to their children was conducted as part of the NISHD study of early child care and youth development. This study, which began in the 1990s and followed thousands of children over several years, examined various factors related to parenting, including emotional availability and its impact on children's development. 62% of children with emotionally available mothers developed secure attachments. 38% of children with less emotionally available mothers were more likely to develop insecure attachments. 43% of mothers with high stress or depression reported reduced emotional availability. 69% of children with sensitive and emotionally available mothers demonstrated higher social competence and emotional regulation. These studies underscore the importance of maternal emotional availability for fostering secure attachment and healthy emotional development in children, while highlighting the potential challenges when mothers face emotional or psychological stress. Trust you're enjoying this and finding it rich and insightful. If yes, please like, subscribe, and don't forget the bell so that you do not miss the next one. Let's continue. 4. Behavioral impacts on the child's attention span. Have you ever tried to sit down with your child, excited to do some activities with them, like reading a book, drawing, or building a puzzle, just to find that they lose focus in just a few minutes? This can be from maybe too much screen time. Cocomelon's rapid scene changes and stimulating content can shorten a child's attention span, making it more challenging for the parent to engage their child in less stimulating, more developmental activities like reading or puzzles. This can create tension in the relationship when a mother struggles to keep the child focused on non-screen-based tasks. Random fact: a key study that explored the behavioral impacts of screen time on children's attention span is the one conducted by Dr. Dimitri Christakis and his team. This study specifically examined the relationship between television exposure in early childhood and subsequent attention problems by the time the children reach school age. These studies highlight a clear correlation between high screen time and an increased risk of attention problems, underscoring the importance of limiting screen exposure, especially in young children. 5. Screen time guilt and parent stress. Yes, you heard it right. This one is for the parents. Many parents experience guilt or stress over allowing their child too much screen time. This can lead to internal tension or feelings of inadequacy. A mother may feel torn between needing time to herself and feeling responsible for curbing screen time, which could impact her emotional well-being and in turn affect her interactions with her child. If you have ever thought that it's only you, don't worry. Here's a random fact. 72% of parents expressed concern about their child's screen time. 47% of parents reported feeling guilty about allowing too much screen time. 34% of parents reported feeling stressed or anxious about managing screen time. 65% of parents use screen time to manage their children while multitasking, despite potential feelings of guilt. This is from a study that examined screen time guilt and parent stress related to screen use in children, was conducted by Common Sense Media in their 2017 report. These findings highlight that while screen time is often used as a practical solution for busy parents, it also leads to significant feelings of guilt and stress regarding potential long-term developmental impacts. Now, let's recap and conclude. During the course of this video, I deliberately included random colors of yellow, green, and blue, as this automatically creates excitement and attraction to keep focus. I did this only to prove and showcase how it affects you. This is your brain's reaction as an adult, which are already trained and experienced. Now imagine what this will do to your child's brain. Congratulations if you are still watching. That by itself is just proof that you are an awesome parent and cares. So, you might think, how the hell am I going to survive not doing any screen time, allowing me just to think straight? Don't. You know how much you love your child, and as long as you pursue everything solely focused on that love factor, you will rarely screw something up so dramatically that you will harm your and your little one's relationship. The basic principles still apply. Common knowledge takes you all the way to 80%. Too much of something is always bad. Balancing screen time with other enriching activities can help maintain a healthy, strong relationship between a mother and her child.